Today we're going to sew the Cressida East-West bag from Oro Rosa Patterns. It's a fabulous little crossbody bag with a turn lock closure. Inside you will have a zipper slip pocket combo and credit card slots and slip pockets on the back as well. This is a super fun sew and it goes pretty quick actually. So let's get to it. I'll start off as I usually do and make all my markings and put my double-sided tape down. And then I'll grab my handles and straps and remove the double-sided tape top. And I'll fold my raw edges to the center. I'm gonna leave a little tiny gap. So what I do is I just fold it up to the bottom of my marking line, and then I'll fold it to the top of my marking line. My gap is like really minuscule, like really minuscule. Trying to get it to focus here. Not much of a gap at all. And then we'll just go ahead and repeat this for the handle as well. Afterwards, you'll fold your straps and handles in half to encase that raw edge, and you can clip down to secure if you want. Then we'll top stitch on both sides, and I'll actually do the short side as well. I'm using Mora faux leather here, and I'm going to use a 5.5 stitch length with a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to use my zipper foot as a guide. Repeat for the other handle, and I'm going to pull my threads to the back, and I'm going to tie them off and burn them instead of back stitching. I could back stitch here anyways. Okay, now that our handle is done, let's go ahead and make our marks. And then we'll punch the holes for this. This is where you put on your strap ends, but I actually don't have any right now, so I'm just skipping that part. And I'm going to put on my D-rings and clip them on. And then grab my strap. Go ahead and put your swivel on. You want to make sure your clasp is to the exterior side, the right side. Then you'll fold it over. Make a mark. Punch and install a rivet. Go ahead and grab the other end of your strap, making sure you're on the right side of the strap. I like to start with my unwelded side. Go up and over the bar. Grab your other swivel. Make sure it's on the outside of your strap, just like the other pieces. Make some wiggly room here, and then slide your strap end back up and over that center bar, folding it over the same way you did for the last one. Install your rivet and your strap end on both sides if you have them. Okay, your strap is all done. Go ahead and grab your bag body and your flap, and we're going to put it right sides together with our flap top and our back of our bag body. So you put it right sides together. We're going to sew along that edge at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So you're going to put double-sided tape on here and open up your seam allowances. I'm just going to open up my seam allowances and top stitch. Then you can go ahead and install your tag if you have one, and grab your lining pieces. All right, I've got my card slots here and I've drawn my lines. So I'm gonna press on my first line with the card slots wrong sides together. And then we'll fold it right sides together on the second line. And one more fold is the top of that edge comes all the way down to the opposite raw edge. We're going to top stitch those two folded areas. I'll use a 5 on this woven type stuff and an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I went ahead and made my 2 markings on my first fold only. Now I'm going to flip the back up, so you have just that one fold really, and we're going to top stitch those 2 lines we drew. You're only going through 1 layer of fabric at first, so be careful and so slow. I'm going to go ahead and stop in the top of my top stitching, pivot all the way around, and sew right back down that line I just made. And I'll go ahead and repeat on the other one. Okay, now the top stitching's done. We're going to take that back extra and fold it right sides together with the bottom edge. And then we're going to sew that bottom edge at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Trim your seam allowance down and turn it right side out. Press everything out nice and smooth. Then you'll make a mark from your center stitching over and do it on the top fold and the bottom fold this time. We are not top stitching this yet. Go ahead and grab your lining and put this stabilizer side down, and you want the lining front side. And you're going to measure and lay your card slots out right onto that front side. Double check that you don't have the flap one and clip it in place. Okay, so now it's time to top stitch the card slot on. We're going to top stitch it through all the layers, all the way to the top of the top stitching here. I will go and pivot and come back down, and then I'm going to base the rest of the card slots on. I'll use a 5 for the entire thing. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other side as well. Go ahead and grab your zipper pocket, exterior, lining, and your zipper. Then center your zipper with the teeth up on the right side of your lining. And you can base that on with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. We're going to go ahead and take our zipper and pull it to the other side of our lining now and baste it to this side, making sure everything matches up. Now we'll grab the exterior and the lining and put the zipper teeth right side together with the exterior. And we will sew that on with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and we'll repeat for the other side. You want to make sure you start all the way at the end of your zipper, then use your 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Turn it right sides out. I'm going to go ahead and pull apart my zipper. So I've got 2 zipper sides. I'm going to be on the side that is on the exterior of this pocket. Now that this is top stitched, I'm going to go to the opposite edge, and we're going to wrap our exterior around our zipper tape. So you'll get about a 3/8 of an inch fold over at the top. And then we're going to stitch this twice, once along the zippered edge and once along that top folded edge. Go ahead and give that a press if you want. So I'm going to start in that top folded edge, and then I'll just come around and sew the zipper side. Go ahead and start warming up your iron. Bring your zipper tape all the way close to each other so your teeth match, and then we're going to press this. I'm going to flip mine over and press from the back side as well, just because I have waterproof canvas inside and that's a little thicker. I just want to double check to make sure we got that crisp fold right there, and then turn this wrong sides out. Make sure your zipper is pointed the correct directions, which mine is. And then we're going to sew down the lining sides at 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to be starting my sewing right there in that zipper flap and repeating on the other side. And then we'll trim those down. Go ahead and press your pocket again, and we'll install our zipper. Go ahead and install our zipper. We're going to do it twice, so just put that on and take it back off. Grab that lining body piece again. Put your card slots on the bottom, and then you're going to take your zipper pocket and line it up the opposite direction of your card slots, and then we'll baste that on. Go ahead and grab your gusset exteriors and linings. Put them right sides together, one exterior with one lining. You'll clip it in place, and we're going to sew the curved side and a little bit of this jut out at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to pivot right here and sew up this straight area, and we'll go 3/8 of an inch past that notch and sew our seam allowance, pivot and sew our seam allowance. We'll repeat with the other one. I don't own pinking shears, so what I'm going to do is clip into my seam allowance at that notch all the way up to my stitching, but not through it. Okay, and then I'll just triangle clip real quick everywhere, and not graciously probably. Okay, it's time to turn these out. We'll repeat for the other one, and then we're going to top stitch around that area that we sewed. All right, I'll be using a 5 for top stitching. Go ahead and grab your lining. Put the card slots on the bottom again, like we did last time. I'm going to make a mark a 1/4 inch down from the bottom of my card slots, and that's where we're going to line up our gussets. So that notched area is going to touch that 1/4 inch mark, and we're going to base that on. Make sure our gusset pieces are exterior side up. The round parts will be facing the zipper pocket. The flatter edge will be towards the top of the card slots. Just an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I got so excited about putting these on, I forgot to tell you I measured and marked my rivet holes and punched them. So they're all through here. Don't get into your stitching like I did on this one. On the other one I did not. I melted my thread afterwards, and then we can put some fray check on there to ensure that doesn't come undone. I'm actually going to run a strip of 1/8 inch double-sided tape from the top to the bottom of the sides of the lining before we move on to the next step. Now I've grabbed my lining side panels, and I'm going to take that paper backing off and put a lining side panel right sides together with my lining. And then I'll do it on the other side as well, and then we can go sew this at a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape, and I'm going to put it along the raw edge. You can go ahead and do it on both sides. So I'll start in the center, and I'm going to press on the outside and down. I'm going to use a 5.5 stitch length on this faux leather and an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, we'll go ahead and repeat on the other side. Grab your main exterior body, flip it over so the stabilizer is up. On your flap top piece, we're going to measure up 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of it. And then we're going to put our rivet marks. Go ahead and punch those holes out. Go ahead and trim your bulk at your seams on your exterior and on your lining. Here's the bulk trimmed in the corners on the lining. Okay, I went ahead and drew my seam allowances on the back of my exterior as stated. I'm going to flip it over so it's right side up, and I've got the flap in my right hand. I'm going to get my lining and make sure I have my flap in my right hand. And I'm going to put everything right sides together. Okay, I'm going to start sewing from about 2 inches away from the edge of the front of your bag body. I'm going to sew with my bag body right side up so I can see those drawn lines I made earlier. I'm going to sew right on those lines, pivot when I need to, and backstitch at the beginning and the end. We are leaving a hole in the front side. I've got mine marked so I know this is the front. Go ahead and trim our seam allowance except for where the opening is. Then we're going to mark at the front opening. I've gone ahead and made a mark on my exterior and my lining side. And I've put a 1/4 inch piece of double-sided tape on the front and lining sides. We'll go ahead and turn this right sides out and warm up our iron. So you'll fold your body at this front part here and in the back, and then let your flap fall over. You want this rough rectangle shape. I'm going to go ahead and clip it in place. Double check on the sides that it looks like a little rectangle. And then measuring from the bottom, I'm going to center where I think my lock should go. Okay, my turn lock needed to be about 1.5 inches up. So I marked the placement for that, and I'm going to cut my holes through my exterior only. I'll go ahead and insert my turn lock. You can put some duct tape over the ends of these if you have a folded end like mine, which I will do. That's been added. We'll go ahead and pull the double-sided tape backing off now and fold our edges under and stick it down to the double-sided tape at the line we made earlier. All right, I'm going to start top stitching from the end of my bag front of the opening. I'm going to use an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 5.5 stitch length. All right, about 1/4 of an inch up from your card, from your zipper pocket, make a mark with a removable pen on the outside edge. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. That's going to be approximately where our gussets need to go. So I'll take my bag and flop it over and match up the rounded corner part of my gusset here to that line I made. And then it curves right into the base of the bag. I'm going to do that on the other side, and then I'll double check to make sure the shape of my bag is correct. Okay, we can see that crisp line down there. And here we go. Now that that's clipped in place, go ahead and stick your pen through your rivet holes that you previously marked. I'm going to double check that my markings are not in any stitchings, and then I'll punch the holes, clip these back together, and install and set my rivets. I started with the curved side of my gussets. I thought that would be easier to access now, and installed both rivets, and now I'm just gonna do the rest of them. All the outy parts of my rivets are gonna go on the outside of my bag. And then I'll just put backings on them. And then I'll set those 3 and go to the other side. Now that that is riveted together, go ahead and fold your flap over to make it straight. I'm going to fold my flap right at that line and stuff the side of my bag into that line so I can hopefully keep it straight. Got that fold on the other side. And set it up. And then I'm going to mark my hole placement. I think I'm going to set my washer upside down on top of my lock. Get the flap down and hold it on. Okay. So this is not straight, so we'll straighten that up just a little bit. Okay, we'll mark the screw holes and that opening. I'll cut those out and punch those holes. Okay, now that that's installed, flip over your bag with the flap open. Find those holes you punched earlier for the handles and punch them again through your lining. Go ahead and grab your handle and 4 rivets. I'm going to put my rivet posts in. Go ahead and put them right through that top holes we made. Make sure your D-ring stays in the center of those. I'm going to flip that over now and put the backs on so we don't lose them. Then come to the other side. All right, and then you can set all 4 of those. All right, go ahead and close your lock and put your strap on, and you are done. Now you've made a Cressida. Great job, everyone. She's beautiful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. Otherwise, have fun sewing. Bye, everyone.